Members of Congress say they want to know more about the government's green energy loan program after two companies it supported filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in 2 months, despite the feds loaning them hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. Today, the federal watchdog who first raised the red flag about the problems at Solyndra testified before lawmakers, telling them that those bankruptcies are not the only reason the Department of Energy's $35 billion loan program hasn't led to many new jobs. He says there's also a lack of so-called shovel-ready projects.
Not meaning to make a joke out of a very serious subject, it's been equated to attaching a lawn hose to a fire hydrant. The infrastructure, both at the federal, state, and local level, simply was not there to accept the burden.
You'll recall the collapse of Solyndra left taxpayers on the hook for $535 million in federal loan guarantees. And last week we learned another energy company, Beacon Power, filed for bankruptcy despite a $43 million cash infusion from Uncle Sam. Meantime, brand new court documents show Solyndra's former CEO negotiated a severance package that totaled more than $450,000 when he stepped down in July. A former employee says big bonuses were common at the company to hold on to talent. Mike Emanuel's on Capitol Hill tonight. And Mike, we're learning that I guess the feds are going to release some more documents on Solyndra. Any details?
Well, that's right. The administration sending some 20,000 documents related to Solyndra to the House Energy and Commerce Committee, about 1,200 communications between the White House and the Department of Energy. What we've seen so far is pretty predictable. Late August, administration officials realizing Solyndra's about to go bankrupt, and so they are talking about what they can do to try and save the company. I should note that this release comes just ahead of a meeting tomorrow morning by that House committee to decide whether to issue subpoenas to get information from the administration it says it wants badly, Shep.
But back to today's hearing, Mike, how was it that they're explaining that the stimulus package didn't do all that they had hoped?
Well, they said essentially it overwhelmed the Department of Energy. They said they were rushing it out. There was great pressure to get the money out to the states to get people back to work. But quite often when it got to the states and local governments, people there had been furloughed because jobs had been whacked due to budget crunches in those states and local communities. That led a leading Republican congressman to draw this conclusion.
The available evidence seems to indicate that programs put forth by this administration aimed at promoting green energy and green jobs have failed and frankly should end.
And that seems unlikely at this point, but one thing is for certain, the investigation into Solyndra and into the administration's green energy push will continue here on Capitol Hill.
Mike Emanuel live there tonight. Mike, thanks very much. Well,